Hello, it's been a little while. I wanted to come check in. Also, something hit my spirit that I had to share. As you know, if you're seeing this video, it's not an accident. You're either seeing this video because God is bigger than algorithms or because someone shared it with you. And either way, either reason means it's for you, and it's for you to hear now in this time. Something that hit my spirit lately that I feel necessary to share is, where have all the daughters gone? When I say daughters, I'm talking about daughters of the King. Like what I am, like what you are. Daughters of the Most High God. Royalty, like my tattoo. Daughters of the King. Where are they? What happened to them? And I don't think that it's one answer. I think that it's multiple answers. But I think that the reason that it hit my spirit was mainly talking about, because I think lots of things have happened to women as a whole over time that have made us think we're weak, think we don't matter, think that we don't have any power. You know, those are all lies from the enemy. But the reason that I believe it hit my spirit is because now, in this day and time, so many of his daughters are being oppressed in relationships where the magnitude of the relationship coming down on her makes it almost impossible for her to look up, for her to keep her eyes planted on him. And he wants his daughters. He's calling his daughters. They're so important. They are such an important part of the plan to further the kingdom, of the calling, of the destiny, which is why the enemy targeted them. You know, over time, some of us have believed the lie that women aren't as powerful as men, that we are a side piece, so to speak, that we are a side, we're not the main, we're the side, we're the support system. We're there to lift up, to make sure that everything around is in place. And that's not true. You absolutely have a calling on your life. You are absolutely called for such a time as this. If you don't believe how important women are in the furthering of the kingdom of God on this planet, why'd the enemy go straight after Eve? Yeah, you're going to come across the people that are like, oh, because she was the weak one. Really? And it doesn't matter. It's not about between Adam and Eve. They both did it. But the enemy went after her because he knew that if he could get to the woman, he could get to the man. Why is that? That's how much power us women have in the world. not just in a relationship, in the world. You know, and yeah, there's women out there that use it for evil. The power that we have to persuade. We hold a lot of power on purpose in the plan God gave it to us. Look at Jesus' life, how much power, how much trust he put in women just in the time that he was here. The enemy went after Eve on purpose because if he could get to her, that was all it was going to take, because she was, Adam didn't even, he did what Eve wanted to do. He didn't stop and go, well, wait a second. God, he chose Eve over God. And right now, where the daughters have gone is choosing men over God. They're lost. They're confused. They're oppressed. They're held down. Because in this time where we are feeding personality disorders, we are creating personality disorders, we are mass producing people with toxic traits. And what we don't talk about enough is how being in a relationship with a person like that, what it does to you. What we don't talk about enough are the symptoms of being in a relationship that's confusing. Being in a relationship that when you wake up and you reflect on your life, on yourself, and you pay attention to patterns of behavior of the people that are in your life, you realize that person breaks you, fixes you. Breaks you, fixes you. Breaks you, fixes you. Yes, part of it is you do have to take some responsibility for the fact that they are able to break you. They are able to fix you because your eyes are fixed on the wrong thing. They're controlling your emotions because you're letting them. But you've gotten yourself to this place that allows them to control your emotions. And you realize you don't have the power to stop it on your own. But when you recognize your worth, when you recognize that you are royalty, when you recognize that you are a daughter of the King, and you go to him and admit that you can't do it alone, and you give it to him, you surrender it, and you tell him, I can't do this. First of all, forgive me for letting myself get here. Forgive me for not listening to you and paying attention to the red flags. Forgive me for getting this far in. And I surrender it to you. I don't want it anymore. I realize that it's keeping me from being able to focus on you. And I need your help to get out of this because I can't do it on my own. You want to know why you can't do it on your own, even though you're a strong woman who's always been able to do everything on her own? Because this is different. It's not natural. It's supernatural. It's evil. Now, before you go down a rabbit hole of focusing on that person being evil, it is evil what is happening to you. It is spiritual warfare. They are listening more to the voice of the enemy than they are God. And you know that, sister. You know it. You think about it sometimes. I wish he would just go to God about this instead of getting so mad. Or I wish he would go to God instead of drinking. Or I wish he would go to God instead of other women. Or I wish he would go to God instead of not speaking to me for hours or days or weeks. So when he's not going to God, he's listening to the wrong voice. And when you do that for long enough, you become oppressed by the evil spirits. And when the relationship is then oppressing you, keeping you from looking to the Father, you start listening to the wrong voices too. You've got to go back to him and you've got to ask him for help. You've got to surrender it to him. Don't even think about the logistics of everything at the moment. Don't think about, but if I didn't have him, what would I do? What do I do if I have to sit at home alone on a Friday evening? How am I going to pay this rent? I don't want to raise my kids alone. And on and on and on and on and on and on. The lies that the enemy tells you. Don't think about the logistics now. Because guess why? When you go to him and you fix your eyes on him, he's going to take care of all of that in due time. But he's got to rescue you first. That's what comes first. You, the daughter. He wants his daughters back, and he needs his daughters now. For such a time as this, you were made. You were put on this planet for a reason. Not to be a doormat. Not to be a cheerleader. Not to make sure that everyone else is taken care of while you're not. That is not why he put you here. Go to him and let him rescue you.